How you guys doing today? Welcome back. Today is June 3rd, 2021. We're back with another watch list for you guys. If you're new here, thank you for joining me. You must like memes more than clickbait, and for that, I appreciate you. If you're a veteran here, if this is your 4th or 5th time or 20th time, thank you for coming back. I do appreciate more than you guys know. If you are new, we're going to cover technical analysis. We're going to talk about supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, EMA lines, volume profile, vortex, stochastic, and the RSI. And again, you could probably throw in love. We'll cover love too. Make it all 10. All 10 of those things is what I do to be successful with technical analysis. Now, of course, when I go over these charts, you must do these yourself. And then also fundamental analysis, risk management, mental analysis, goal setting, making a trading plan, macro indexes, consistency. All these things I talk about constantly need to be also used in your trading. But that's more on you. If you need more information on that, wait for late July, early August. My class is coming. That'll be pretty cool. If you enjoy this kind of content and no bullshit, no, EMC is going to go up and then down, but it's we're fucking hedge funds. If you're sick of that and you just want to find actual stuff to learn from, this is where you want to be, right? Subscribe, like, comment. I'm the guy or one of the guys who finds plays before they blow up, right? I was in Neo at 6, Riot at 3. I was in all these plays before they even got big. My license plate's GME LOL. I mean, I do it too, but I'm not some jackass about it. So if you enjoy this kind of content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you really enjoy the content, like really, really much, make sure to hit up my Discord. You can go to the description box down below. You'll see my Discord name, EvanMPressman. Just dox myself, what's up? And then it's $4698. Just add me on Discord, 7-day trial. All you guys check it out. Make sure you like it before you buy it. Lastly, as I always say, if you really like this content, please go watch other people too. There's no reason not enjoying other folks because you're just so loyal to me, which would be cool but also kind of weird. Maybe my cat is your selling factor. Cat. He's here because he chooses to be. I don't even make him be in here. He refuses not to be in here during filming. He likes the lights. But if you like scalping, day trading, like crypto, long-term investments, like omni trading, like all these kinds of things, I don't do that. Now, of course, my technical analysis can be applied to any time frame or any kind of style. But again, you need to make sure that you watch other people. Like Rainer Tao's great. You got Zip Charlie, who's good. You have other folks as well. You have great books and authors you can read. Again, go watch them, go patron them, go support them. It's not supposed to be some competition. And anyone who teaches or takes education as a competition is an idiot in the first place. So you should go watch other people, go enjoy them. I'm all for it. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, Gremlin, let's get into it. So we have 8 plays today. I've called a few before. FIVN I've called, and WY I called recently for an 8%, 6% return, anywhere in there. And here we are again, calling it once more. But these plays, I had about 18 today. Shared about 10 with the Discord. These are my favorite 8 where they are right now. Some actually came right back. Like I remember Plab the other day. That was really cool. I called Plab right here, and then within the same day it was up almost like 11%. That was pretty sweet. Waiting for that to come back down. All right. ADSK is our first one. Autodesk Inc. Again, where are the lines? I'm going to show you. Sweet baby angels. Come on, bud. Let's go. So we have ourselves our support and resistances first. Now I can go through this whole entire chart and do a support and resistance every single place I see one. Boom, boom, boom. These are all supports and resistances. You're probably like, how's it doing it so fast? Again, the goal of support and resistances is to make 100% channels. From support to resistance, support to resistance, resistance to support, support to resistance. You want to have as many 100% successful channels as possible. That's the main goal of supports and resistances. Some folks don't do that because they're foolish. That's okay. Our first support is what I'm going to go with right about here. This is probably a fine spot to be. It's in a zone. It can get lower than this. Wouldn't be shocked. It can get a little bit higher than this. Wouldn't be shocked. Our first resistance to make a bunch of 100% channels will probably be right about there. Now, it could be a little bit higher. That's totally fine. I make my resistances orange. Now, let's do our trend line. I'm sure my head's probably in the way a little bit, but when you chart this yourself, because again, you must do this yourself to be successful. Just following an internet stranger is dumb. This is a great trend line. Ooh, delicioso, delicious. To add extra moves, I'm going to do about, you could do right about here probably is probably good. Make sure it's not more than 4% usually, but my average is 2%. That's fine. Find like a delicious red wine. Show you that's a song. I don't know. So again, once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times it survived just fine. Number 8. Lucky number 8. That's not a thing. And then we have a resistance trend line. Some stocks are not going to have them. They're really hard to find. This one is such a beauty. I mean, it does cut through price action. Give me a break. It's okay. You know, when it's this perfect sometimes, you can just go with it. This is an obvious horizontal triangle, or what folks just call a wedge. Last thing we have is our volume profile. You got to go to studies, edit studies, and edit. I have a button for mine right here. Now, again, I can have a whole conversation about how this is a big old D. Big old D. But no, it's definitely a capital D, which is a shape that you get from volume profile, showing that the best value is about 253, probably closer to 264 given this high volume node area. And again, we have a whole conversation about that. We're not going to. It's a whole video on that, which you can definitely go watch and figure out. I also have a 50-part class. Yes, 50-part class coming out that's going to have that covered in a 4 or 5 minute video for free. You're welcome. End of July, hopefully. We'll see what happens. What I'm doing now is putting these 2 dotted lines. This is where 70% of the volume happens. Again, is it good or bad? It depends on the setup. It depends on the volume profile. You can watch that video to find out more. We can see here our POC, our red line here. This is the highest volume node. It's a good and a bad thing on every single chart. The POC is good when you're above it, because when you're above it, it's going to be a very strong support. So when you come into it, you bounce off it. See how it bounces a lot, like how you bounce right there, bounce right there, bounce right there, bounce right there. Support. And it wants, but the issue is when you're above it, it wants to pull you down, right? It's gravitational. When you're below it, again, the pro is it wants to pull you up. It's like, come on, baby, get up, get the next 2.5%, come to mama. That's fine. The issue is it's a strong resistance. See, like right here, it hit it and died. POC is a strong resistance. Hit right here and died, strong resistance. Last thing we always do with our charting on this channel is we always add the ticker, because I use the screenshots quite a lot, and I'm dumb and I'll forget what it's called, and folks will ask me, I have no idea. So ADSK, this is a rarity to see such a gorgeous triangle on this time frame. Now I'm more inclined to go off of the resistance trend line. Why? Because once, twice, 3, 4, 5, almost purely, and it's almost once every month it's done it. This trend line once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times over a much longer time period. Again, it's there, but this resistance trend line is much stronger. But this support area here, here, and here, these 3 supports we're going to be going into. Wherever it decides to reverse at, it just had earnings, so it's having an overreaction. Wherever it decides to come back up to, this is going to be a very hard place to break. So again, make sure your short-term price targets, if you're going to hold this for a year, don't worry about that. Or you want to hold this for 2 months, you know, don't really worry about it as much. But, you know, for a week to 2 weeks that we do, this is going to be a big problem to break above. So make sure your short-term price targets are based off this resistance trend line. We'll see the EMA lines are in the middle for a triangle. Let's check it out. What's really cool about this channel, besides myself, aka Chef Boyer Swing, Bruce Swingstein, and John Stonkton, what's really cool is I don't actually scan with indicators on. You'll see a lot of people scan with RSI, VWAP, EMA lines on. I don't. I go purely off of the technical analysis of the price action. If the technical analysis checks out, the indicator should be there regardless if I do it correctly or not. Again, if I do it correctly, they should be there to reinforce it. If I do it wrong and they're there and they're wrong, I don't play with it, right? If it's not right, it's not right. So I don't use them at all when I scan. I do miss some opportunities, but again, I always go technical analysis first, indicators, fundamental analysis, double check my mental analysis, which again, you should look into Mark Douglas's book and also read up on and all these kinds of things, yada yada, get that mental analysis. I do that last before I enter a trade, make my trading plan, bada boom, bada bing, go into it. With that being said, let's check these indicators out. So off the bat, we can see they are right in the middle of this triangle. You see this? How the 50 and the 200 on this time frame, buck 180 day, 4 hour, when the EMA lines are in the middle of a triangle, is showing consolidation. If you didn't know that, subscribe. More treats coming for you. Appreciate it. This is a really good sign of consolidation. See how sideways these EMA lines are going? It's showing that it's waiting for a big pop. Bulls are losing up here, but they're winning down here. Bears are winning up here, but bears are losing down here. We're definitely showing levels of buying in and selling. I think we're getting towards a buying area. Worst case, Ontario. It breaks all of this 3.5%. We're on 263. You want to get out, and then you could try and buy back in when it shows some life probably. Not bad risk. You know, you're going to get about 6%. Pretty good 2-to-1 ratio at least. EMA lines will be resistances moving forward. But like I always say in this time frame, when you're properly stacked, being properly stacked is a huge deal for any kind of time frame. But again, when you can get in off of value like I do, I want to get in early off value. When you then become on a big surge up, you'll have price, 10 EMA line, 50 EMA line, 200 EMA line in that order. When you're properly stacked, you'll print on this time frame. More times than not, you'll be fucking printing. It's crazy. So you can see right here, price 10, 50, 200. Well, on that big run up like this one, we can see when it had a huge run of almost 26%. Happened right here again, a good push of 7%. Right here it happened again, 9%. So again, you want to wait for that crossover? Sure, but with the risk versus reward here, waiting for a crossover isn't the best idea. I'm going to go off of value. RSI could be maybe 1-2 pips lower. That's exactly where you want it. That's glorious. We have a nice low stochastic, a obvious divergence so far right there to there, right there to there. If it does break down below 265, that breaks the divergence, which is kind of worthless in itself. But you can see clearly lower low, higher low, higher low, lower low. Those are opposites. That's a great divergence. Bulls low, bears high, glorious. ADSK is almost a perfect play. The issue that we're having with ADSK is the EMA lines. They're not where you want them. You want the 10 and the 50 to be below it, maybe the 50 above it, but the 200 definitely would want to head below it. So again, besides these two being the way, besides a clear resistance stopping our reward, it's almost a perfect play, especially once we get some life. Minus, earnings is killing it. Once it shows some green, this is also really nice with the resistance trend line because we have clear goals. And that's really important to some traders who are beginners to know when to take profit, when not to take profit. Even if ADSK does this in the future and you sold here, guess what? If your plan was to sell at 291, you did it, that matters more to me. ADSK, watch list it, looks like a good play for this week. So next is ALK, Alaska Air Group. Assuming this is probably an airline. I haven't done the fundamentals on the play that I found it today. The reason I like ALK so much, the issue off the bat, once, twice, it's a bit of a stretch on the third hit here. So again, it's only really hit twice and lived. I like my trend lines that hit 3 times, but again, look at the support area. Just looking at this, it has almost always gone below 64.73. Okay, it has more importantly always gone below 65.40. We're right there. Besides here, every single time it's gotten below that area. So again, we're definitely in a buying zone. Worst case, it breaks all of this 3.5% later. You get rid of it. A small move to the first resistance is a 1-to-1. That's fine. It's not terrible. A good move will net you about a 2-to-1. A modest move, 3-to-1, and a glorious move, a 4-to-1. So ALK horizontally checks out. Look at this convergence. Volume profile line, great. Trend line, great. Horizontal support, great. All three are right there looking beautiful for us. The only issue we have, it's only hit really twice. The POC's down here. You want to see that shift up the next few weeks. In the next 2 months, this many days are left. In the next 50 days, this will not be down here. This will shift up because this will be the chart going forward. The POC will probably shift here, or it's going to shift up here. That's a great sign of strength. ALK, great horizontal play, great trend line. The resistance trend lines, again, you could probably say it's some form of triangle, but nothing really checks out with 3 hits yet. ALK, let's check the indicators. So we can see the 200 gives us some really good clarity. Same with the 50. Again, you can see how they're kind of starting to go sideways, showing that this is possibly more of a horizontal play. If the trend lines were keep going up at this angle, I'd be like, yeah, it's still definitely an ascending play. But as the trend lines kind of start to curtail off and go more to the side, and they start to kind of do one of these bad boys, that is showing that price action in the last 3 to 4 months in this case is starting to go sideways. Not a bad thing, but again, make sure your goals and your buy-ins are based off of these things. So I would definitely go with more of the horizontal play, but look at even the horizontal play. Breaks at 200, we got value. Breaks it, we got value. Breaks it at value. We're again below the 200 with value. So far, it has been a bit of a bastard to get above, especially coupled with the 50. See how the 50 is so hard to get above? This will be a short-term resistance. Now, again, a worst case of 4.5% to hit this, not bad. But again, we're definitely at value. You must define your own level of value. But moving forward, again, this may turn into Russell 2000, which became a horizontal play. So again, keep your eyes peeled for that as this develops further. RSI is exactly where you want it. A little bit lower is perfect, but this is beautiful. Stochastic is dummy low. That's great. I don't see any bearish divergences. This all checks out really well. Bullish wise, no, it's fine. It definitely is right there. It's okay. But again, negative 40, we want to see some life here. When the stochastic is this low, it's actually like -80. When it's this low, what we're looking for is a crossover. You'll see a blue line and a red line. When the blue line curls north, or actually goes from being southbound to northbound, that's the first sign of strength. And so we're going to want to look for the 200, or for the blue line here to cross above the red line. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen instantly, but you can see when it gets this low often, what's it do? Makes a little bowl shape. Bowl, cup and handle. Bowl, 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 bowl. It takes a little bit of time, but when it gets curling, when you see that blue cross the red, it's a great sign. Bulls, dummy low, bears, dummy high. ALK, a great play. I would definitely put my weight towards a horizontal play here. And again, with that horizontal play, you have higher high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Make sure you know that this may turn into a descending triangle eventually. If that's the case, it's not a perfect setup. You don't want that. But this support area, based off the risk, that's very minimal. I like ALK a lot. Next is FIVN. We actually played off of FIVN around here in this area. Then it ran up and made a really good move. That was a great day for everybody. High fives all around. Good job, boys. We printed. FIVN is right back down here again. I really like how it looks. Now again, a really beautiful resistance trend line. And I know some people are like, well, why would you want that? It means you have less gains. I don't really give a shit about dollar signs. I never have. No one who's a good trader should care about dollar signs. What I care about is risk versus reward and clarity. And this kind of markets, you know how choppy it's getting. I want to have some very, very clear signs. This is it. So even though I don't want to have this, I'd rather have this be up here and this be up here. Then I can be like, hell yeah, brother, we're pushing up here. But if I can at least get a resistance trend line that shows clarity and also shows some form of consolidation, I'll take it over nothing for sure. This support area, glorious. This trend line, beautiful. A full move, 11%. And again, that's if it were to move. Like if it were to take more time, it could be 7 or 8. But again, a reasonable move, 11%. You're risking it what? 4, 3 to 1. Great, love it, good stuff. Easy support play. Wait for some life. I mean, you could see. Look at the severity of these candles. Look at that. You had a little doji boy, big, thick, real thick. Nothing, more red. There's absolutely no green. No point rushing in. Look at the history of the reversals here. Big green, bullish engulfing, looks good. Come over here. Green, you had 3, then it takes off really well. Right over here you had, big green. So I mean, you want to wait for some green before you rush in my opinion, without the indicators turned on. Let's turn them on and see what it's showing. So we can see clearly now that the rain has gone. We can see clearly that again, on this time frame, the 200 and the 50 are sideways in between these two trend lines, literally almost exactly, right? 6.6, 7. I'm telling you, if you didn't know about that on this time frame, you're welcome. So when the EMA lines get directly centered in a triangle, it gives it much more validity. It's showing consolidation, it's showing that a big move is coming. So again, I'm not saying big move up. I didn't say a big move up. I said a big move. A stop loss was kind of play is needed, you doofus. So this is a really good look. The indicators also show me some great stuff here. Low, low, low. Again, everything is low. It's on deal. It's really good looking stuff. The stochastic, again, a very clear divergence. If it holds above this area, if you don't get a higher low anyways, if it breaks down here, you don't want it. So again, if you have a higher low, you have a clear divergence. That's beautiful. That's great, right? That's what you want to see. And then again, these will be resistances in the short term moving forward. So again, if you get up 8% and starts to die off, you know why. But again, bulls low, bears high, FIVN minus the EMA lines being a resistance. But again, they lend me to see that we have some good consolidation going. I really like what FIVN's doing. If tomorrow's a sell-off Friday, which traditionally they haven't been in the last few months, but if Friday is a sell-off and it takes some time, give it till Sunday night, Monday, and check it out. Should be good. Next is HBM. I called HBM my Discord. It's already up 3%, which again, for some folks is like, that's nothing. AMC's up, dude. Shut up. It's not the point. So HBM is looking really beautiful here. Let's see if it's a channel. Okay, let's duplicate this trend line. Come over. We can see, all right, you can argue that's a channel up. Now again, it's a big channel. I don't like to put a lot of emphasis in channels that are over 30, 40%. This is 50%. This move was 50%. So I mean, can you consider it a channel up? You certainly can. But I have an issue with thinking you're gonna hold the whole move. I don't think anybody here would be like up 35%, be like fuck it, I want 50. And then it comes down 11, you're like, I want 50. Then it goes up, you're like, I don't want all that. And then you wait for that. I don't think that's reasonable to think that anyone would do that. So again, I don't think that saying you want 50% move is a dumb thing, but to hold through all of it just to have a possible channel up, it's okay. But again, the good news is the resistance trend line is much thicker up here and strong up here. You can see it does have an obvious downtrend, right? Once, twice, 3 times. And again, you want to see that break above it, come down and retest. So again, that is here. I wouldn't put too much emphasis into this, but again, you have a trend line, you have support. The POC is pulling us up, hopefully another 5 or 6% easy. It's all right here. Then again, it's clarity. You can probably buy in now, but again, you're risking 5 to 6% to have a lower low, which I don't like to have. But you could also just put a stop loss around maybe like, 730. It comes down a percent. You're like, oh shit. And you want to wait for it to come back down farther. That's fine too. HBM. Let's check the indicator and see if any kind of clarity that may help us out. Off the bat, it's the 200. You see how quick that was? You see how quick my eyes are? There's no editing involved. That's the 200 though. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. You can see this. Breaks it for value. Breaks it for value. Breaks it. It always comes back above. We are at value according to the email lines. Right. Here's what we're looking at. And again, if I leave the screen, I'll lose all my charting. Here's what we're looking at with no charting on. The 50 is going to be a real B word to get above. It doesn't like to give anything. This is going to be a problem moving forward. Right? You can see even right here, it hits it and it dies. It hits it and it dies. So again, this is going to be a short-term resistance. And again, this is convergence of resistances too. 200, POC, and the 50. Now, if it were me playing HBM at this point, I don't see value. I don't think there's a good value play here because of today's movement. We're already up, arguably from the bottom of the day, we're already up almost 4%. We've lost value. Here's what I'm going to do if I like this play. I want to break above the 200. If I get above the 200 and the POC area, I can put, and again, I don't have the PDT rule, so it's just different for me. I can go in around 760, put a stop loss that's like 750. I'll risk myself, I'll risk a percent. If it holds up here and keeps running, then I'm good to go. Otherwise, I need to see some life. Either needs to come down 5% to 710 or I need to see a crossover. But again, that's my opinion. RSI, it's still low. Even off this push up, you still have 90% of the action north of where we are. That's a great sign. The stochastic is curling north. That's what you want to see in these other plays. You see that? You see how that blue? See how this blue is kind of cross over the red? That's what you want to see. Once it crosses red and it crosses the negative 40 line, now we're off to the races. Because see, every time it does that, push up, push up, push up. That's your signal to go long most times. Besides right here, but it is on the way down. But even over here, you pushed up a good amount. Bulls low, bears high. Again, HBM is fine to watch list. I'm not personally super high on buying it right now. If it gaps up tomorrow and I miss it, whatever. It's not part of my plan. But if I do get a 200 and a 50 crossover and it holds on this time frame we print, HBM, that's my play. I do like it a lot still. Next is HZNP, Horizon Therapeutics. I think I've called HZNP before. Not sure. I call a lot of these. I call a lot of therapeutics plays. This is a great looking low risk play. Even off today, that's not a bullish engulfing because it doesn't get the wicks too, but like body to body, that's what you want to see. It buys the whole entire thing right there. That's glorious. Again, the risk here, if you're risk adverse, $86, okay? You're risking 2.5%, that's fine. You want to make sure you don't get lower lows, you go here, all right? 4%. A full move, which I'm not guaranteeing, a full move is 10%, that's 2 to 1, that's pretty good here. Then again, for more risk adverse people, could be a 3 to 1, 4 to 1 play really easily. But a great uptrend once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, hopefully gonna live. This support area is super strong. It does break it a lot. There's a lot of price action that gets near it and wicks back. Boom, hits it, gaps up it, comes up, hits it a bunch of times, can't get above it. A good support area mixed with the volume profile line. I like that a lot. HZNP, I do not think has any news on the horizon, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. It depends on what they're doing. Do your research. Obvious wedge kind of forming here. In a few weeks, few months, this may become much tighter, but for now, I like this kind of play, low risk, high reward, my kind of thing. Let's check the indicators. Ooh, the 200 is what I like here. Breaks it a bunch of times. You don't want to see this. That's not what you want to see. But from here over, when it's uptrending, breaks it, breaks it, breaks it, breaks it, breaks it. Always comes back really, really well. The 50 doesn't seem to be too much of an issue crossing over, and it does seem to do a good job holding us up. And so again, you want to wait for a 200 crossover, we'll give it the 2%, cross above the 200 and the 10, show some life and hold. That's smart. You can see over here, had a real hard time for almost, what was this, like 4 days? 3 days? It almost, yeah, 3 days exactly of it can't break above it. You may be down here for 2 or 3 days until it breaks back above it, if it does. So the 200, a great sign that we're at value, waiting for a crossover is also fine. RSI, it's low, where you want it. Stochastic is low, where you want it. Bulls low, bears high. And once again, if you keep higher lows what you want, an obvious divergence. This is a rarity. I mean, there's some days, I had 18 plays a day. Like, there's a lot of times I don't see this many divergences. When you have that, that's a good sign. This is a really good play. It's gorgeous. HZNP, do your research. It may take you 3 weeks to get 10%, but if you're only risking 2 or 3, it should be worth it to you. Man, I've been waiting to call IAA for a hot minute. My cat. He's a good boy. I've been waiting to call this play for a fat minute. This trend line is beautiful. I mean, I saw it once, twice, and I saw it down here. I'm like, this looks like a pretty good play. And it took off, and I was like, come back to me. And then I did this, and I missed it because I was on vacation. So now we're back down here again. I personally don't want to pay more than like $55 for this one. I think if we can get down like 55, 25, anywhere down here, you know, look at this action over here. I want to get towards here, 55.50. Anything below that to me is a fair price. Up here, meh, it's okay, right? Because you can see the severity of the red candles compared to the green candles. Big reds, big reds, big reds, big reds. Oh, smaller reds, big green, bigger reds, and then it comes back down. So again, I'm not overly convinced with the price action and the severity of the candle size that this downtrend's quite over yet. But we do have higher lows until recently when we don't. So I think it's a good value. Let's use the indicators to see what the value looks like. It's a good play, but I want it a little bit lower. IAA, I do like it. Let's check the indicators. Off the bat, we can see the issues at 250. Off the bat, hits the 200 and dies. Hits the 15 dies. Hits the 15 dies. Hits the 200 and dies. Hits the 15 dies. Again, you can see a clear picture here. Also, if you're sick of me saying this, like, oh, that's the reason why, you can see how clear these plays get when you're methodical like I am. Again, it may become kind of annoying me saying every single play, but again, if I drill it in your head, I'm doing my job. It's going to be an issue breaking these. So again, your short-term price targets must be around the 50 and the 200 EMA lines, which again may give you only 3 or 4%, and you know you're probably risking about 3%. So again, it's a one-to-one play with no crossover. The benefit though, when you get above both of them, you get properly stacked. Moon. You know, over here, get back over it. Moon. Oh, there you cross back above it. Moon. So again, if you wanted to try and wait for that, great. This is a good value nonetheless. RSI, it's low. Stochastic is consolidating. Look at that. It's made its own little baby triangle in this time frame. Interessante. And that's really not a terrible sign because you definitely have a consistent divergence there already. That's beautiful. That's great. So again, you have a nice divergence forming on IAA. Bulls low, bears high. The only issue with me is those EMA lines. Those damned EMA lines today have been a resistance more than a support. If you can't break above those, IAA has no chance of being a good play. But if you have confidence, if you have a fundamental reason, if you have a mental reason that tells you I think IAA is a good support play and it can easily make these moves again, those EMA lines fall to the wayside. It's a good trade. Check it out. So I recently called YAA or WY, it's why it's on here, and I called it right over here, and it made a move of like 6%. That was pretty cool. I just shifted these to the right because we're right back over here again. This trend line, it's beautiful. Now again, I was a bit, you watched that episode, I was more like this with the trend line. I was more aggressive, but now that you can see me cheating led to actually being correct this whole time. Now it's a dividend. Dividends is when the company pays shareholders, so it's obvious the stock usually drops when this happens. Again, let's look at the price action. The last dividend, it dropped. The last dividend, it dropped a little bit and then it ran up. Interesting. So even over here, drop. Oh, it goes over here, drop. So again, these have big drops off these things, but every time it does, comes back, comes back, comes back. So I'm not overly concerned. This has no life though. 1, 2, trace, 4, 5, cinco, whatever. This has a bunch of red boys in a row. Why are you rushing in? Why are you rushing in? You know, give it a minute, okay? When it gets to value, look how quick it is. Value, return, reverse, value, reverse, value, reverse, value, reverse. So again, it does go very quick when it hits value and a support. So again, if I were to see tomorrow morning a green boy about 1% up, you know, scale in here, put half in here, put half in here, let that bad boy run. Looks pretty good. The price action, I do like it. Let's check the indicators. Oh, look at that. We have a 200 EMA line supporting us for once. You know, breaks it, boom, 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 breaks it a bunch, always comes back. You can wait for a crossover, but that would put you almost at your price target, my price target for the short term. Not really worth it. Again, when you get down here, it has no problem breaking back above it. The 50 hasn't been much of a resistance. That's a good sign. It could be a bit lower. It may be going more horizontally. That's fine, but it's clear to me we're at value due to the EMA lines, especially the 200 being broken all the time. RSI exactly where you want it. That's beautiful. Stochastic is -40. Once again, do I see a divergence? Oh, gee willikers. Not really. Meh. Not really. I mean, you could say this if it holds is 1, but that's kind of a stretch, isn't it? But again, no bearish divergences. That's a good sign. That small one. Do you have this to that and that to this? That's a small bearish divergence, but not too worried about that. Bulls low, bears high. WY, it checks all the boxes. Plenty of volume above it, obviously. It's for it to move up. You want to see it scale up all this volume and claw its way up. That's there. WY, watch list it. I like it a lot. Our last play of the week is ZUO. Zora. Hooked on phonics. I need you. I can't spell or read. ZUO is a great setup. Now, is it ready to play tomorrow? Nope, it's not. We can see a clear resistance trend area just like this coming through, being a real B word and stopping us. We're a little bit too high for me. I need it 2.25% lower. Down here on 1450, that's the money. That's the money shot right there. That's what you want to see. If you do get down here, let's just say it gets down to 1450. Our risk, all right, 3.5%, 4%. Our reward, our first one is almost a 2-to-1 play. This is about 2-to-1 right here. A full move would be close to probably about 13. That's a 3-to-1 play. A good move, a good 4-to-1 kind of play. ZUO has everything you want. It's a bit choppier, especially recently with the POC being here. A lot of action goes back and forth between these two channel lines here. If it does break above this resistance, sure. Every time it gets up here, you can just move the stop loss to like 15.15 and let this bad boy run for a crossover. But again, I want to get off the value play. That's my kind of thing. Let's check the indicators. So we can see that the 50 is being a real piece of shit and it won't let you get above it. That's the real big trend line. You want to wait for a crossover. It breaks the 50 and holds. Sure, do the kind of play or go for value. As of right now, we're definitely no man's land. What I mean is that there's no value, there's no crossover. Value to me is like 40 cents cheaper. And I may not seem like a lot, but that's like 3%. If you're willing to leave 3% on the table for all your trades, you're being very, very, stupid. So you have to get a better value or we have to see a crossover. Right now, we're in between both of them. No point rushing in unless your fundamental analysis tends you to have strength to go either way. If you want to go with value, great. You want to go with crossover, great. But until I see either one happening, I'm waiting. ZUO looks good besides that. RSI, see, it's fair. Meh, it's okay. Stock is fair. Meh. Vortex, meh. I see a lot of consolidation. Middle. It's consolidating for a big move. I'm sure you could probably come over here and be like, well, here's actually a resistance trend line. And then here's the triangle that's forming. And then both email lines are in the middle. Sure, it looks like it's a triangle forming. I don't really see a clear one. I think compared to like ADSK or like HBM, which are so much clearer, like IAA is even more clear. Why don't you just play one of those for now, right? So ZUO, it's okay. If it gets down to like 1425, then it's really good. But until then, watch this and see what it does. There you guys go. 8 great plays you can look into tomorrow, and then you also have the whole entire weekend to research these if you don't play them. We'll see what tomorrow holds for us. Usually Fridays are not sell-off days, but occasionally that they will be. So I wouldn't be too worried right now. If you're in my Discord, I'll do my morning newsletter as always and show you guys what the major indexes are doing and how they're looking and show them out throughout the day. That should heavily influence you on what you want to do with these plays. Either way, though, if you enjoy this kind of content, if you enjoy no bullshit, right to the point, we're not going to talk about AMC and Bitcoin constantly and actually show value. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below. Just put the word comment for all I care, right? Any kind of algorithm will help for sure. Otherwise, have a good rest of your weekend. I'm headed to California. Woo! West Side? No, I'm going to be going to California for a week to see some of my fiance's family and to get weird. Usual stuff. Have a good rest of your week. We'll see you guys next week. I appreciate you. Bye.